Hi everyone, this is part 9 of the playthrough. I'll be farming for the Krampus Sack in this video. I wanted to get a Krampus Sack during this winter so that I can also farm azure feathers from the snowbirds that I will be killing to summon Krampus. I can use azure feathers to craft blow darts, and with the Krampus Sack I should be ready to clear out the ruins this summer. I like to use blow darts to shorten the amount of time I spend clearing the monkeys in the ruins, and the Krampus Sack helps a lot with the inventory management when I try to get all of the available loot. Before I played this video, I prepared the items I'll be using to farm the snowbirds, but I did forget that I also wanted the feather hat to attract more birds to the ground while I am farming them. I'm not sure if I had the necessary items at this point to craft a feather hat, but I knew where I neglected to pick one up while exploring. I had to spend a lot of time watching my own videos when I edit them, so I knew I came across a feather hat somewhere at the start of part 2 of the playthrough. All I had to do was re-watch the start of that video to know exactly where it was. I also want to fight Klaus this winter, so I'm going to have to locate the no-eye deer in the loot stash that should be somewhere in the birchnut forest or in the mosaic biome. So I'm going to spend some time making sure that I walk around every area of those two biomes until I find them. I found the deer and they have their antlers already. An antler is used to summon Klaus by trying to use it on the loot stash. To get the deer to drop the antlers, simply hit one of them and let the deer bump into trees. One antler is all I want, I guess. Now I just have to find the loot stash. Here's where I left that feather hat. I should have picked it up the first time. I knew I was going to try to get the Krampus Sack at some point, but lately I've been farming for the Krampus Sack in my other games by asking a friend to help me summon the birds as Wickerbottom. But this is a solo playthrough and I should have remembered that I would need this at some point, or that I would need to farm for the materials to craft the feather hat. Back to looking for the loot stash. Sometimes we get lucky and we find it immediately, but other times it can be quite difficult. I'm trying to make sure that I'm moving through every area and that I'm not repeating areas where I have already searched. Also, the area that updates around our character in the map is larger than what we see on our screen, so it is possible to find the loot stash on our map without actually seeing it on our screen with the map closed. This is why I'm constantly opening the map while I'm searching for it. There it is. Notice how the map's vision found it before I could see it with the map closed. I'll just leave the antler by the loot stash and I can come back to it a little later. That was better than average luck, I think. I did not find it immediately, but it could have taken a lot longer than that. I might not have found it in this biome and I might have had to walk around the mosaic biome looking for it. Now to see if my luck holds up while farming for the Krampus Sack. Wearing the feather hat increases the rate at which birds land on the ground, and I'm using boomerangs to kill them. I sometimes prefer using bird traps if I already have a lot of silk for my spider farm, but I don't have that luxury yet and boomerangs are just as effective. I'm doing this near my pig farm because the pigs will help me kill the Krampus. prioritizing the snowbirds rather than the crows because I want the azure feathers. Also, killing snowbirds summons Krampus faster than killing the crows. Krampus makes that noise to warn us that it'll spawn if we continue to kill innocent mobs. The noise gets louder if we continue killing, and it finally stops after killing a mob to indicate that Krampus has spawned. I'm going to be farming my vault goat farm from time to time from now on. I'm not after the meat from the vault goats. I already get more than I need of that from the pig and bunny farm. The reason for the vault goat farm is for farming the horns. These are not that easy to farm, especially if I only have one herd of vault goats in my world. And I need the horns to craft the weather paints that I want for the last 2 bosses I will fight in the playthrough. I'm using the Ctrl F command to use the boomerang on the nearest available target, but if a snowbird and a crow land near each other, I might use the mouse to indicate which of the birds I want to target. I hold the spacebar down when it's on its way back to me to catch it. I can hold the spacebar down as soon as I release the boomerang, but doing this will sometimes make my character try to pick something from the ground instead of waiting to catch it, so I prefer waiting for the boomerang to be on its way back to me before holding the spacebar down. I'm going to fast forward through a lot of this now because I'm mostly just repeating the process of killing the snowbirds for the azure feathers and summoning 1 or sometimes 2 waves of Krampus each day, hoping that I eventually get the Krampus Sack. guess my luck didn't hold up. No Krampus Sack. It's day 101 and day 105 is the last day of winter. I still have to kill Klaus and deal with the deer clops, so I'm going to stop trying for the Krampus Sack now. I'd normally try this again because the Krampus Sack makes such a big difference in the game, but I don't think I should be doing this again in the playthrough. I'll just have to clear the ruins by managing my inventory, but I would recommend that you guys do not give up so easily on getting the Krampus Sack. It's a lot easier to farm if you're playing Wickerbottom, and if you're playing another character, you can always ask a Wickerbottom to help you out. I'm making pierogi for the fight with Klaus, and I'm carrying the Bee Queen crown for the fight with the deer clops. I think I must have remembered at this point that both deer clops and the hounds were due to appear soon. Probably not the best time for me to start the fight with Klaus. I'm going to wait for at least one of them to spawn before I fight him. I still have 3 days to fight Klaus anyway. Deer clops is here, and now I can use the Bee Queen crown. It's basically the same as last winter, but now I don't have to worry about my sanity dropping since the Bee Queen crown will reverse the effect of deer clop's sanity aura. There's still the threat of hounds if I start the fight with Klaus right now, but I can use Klaus and his deer to kill the hounds for me during the fight. The only real danger is if the hounds manage to kill one of the deer. That would make Klaus turn into its enraged version. But I know from experience that the hounds are not really capable of killing the deer, especially if I'm also there to help kill the hounds, so it should be safe for me to start fighting Klaus right now. I fight Klaus by immediately baiting its attack after one of the deer has cast a spell. I can get in 4 attacks before I need to dodge. Then I can go in for 7 to 8 attacks while Klaus uses the deer to cast another spell. If it is the red deer that is going to cast a fire spell, then I can hit 8 times. If it is the blue deer that is going to cast the ice spell, then I can hit 7 times before I need to move away. From there, it is just repeating the process until Klaus dies for the first time. I also have to position myself in between the deer when I attack Klaus, so that neither of the deer interrupt me with their physical attacks. At one point, Klaus will summon Krampus to fight us. This was the part that I was worried about as Maxwell. I don't usually bring a pan flute to this fight, but I'm not sure if Maxwell would have had enough life to tank the Krampus. So I brought the pan flute so that I could fight them one at a time instead. After Klaus resurrects for its second life, I move away and wait for it to do its lunging attack. Then I bait and dodge Klaus's swiping attack. Then I will tank until one of the deer forces me to move away with one of the spells. I'll just repeat the process from there until Klaus finally dies. final 2 attacks from the deer happen as soon as Klaus finally dies. I did not think Klaus would die yet, and that was a lot closer than I had expected. I have 7 health left. I should be bringing life amulets whenever I fight bosses as Maxwell. But if I had died there, I think I would have had enough time to reach the life amulet in my base, or at least a nearby touchstone before the world reset itself. Klaus drops a stag antler after we kill it, which is the real key to open up the loot stash. This is now my last chance in the playthrough to get a Krampus Sack. There's also a small chance of getting it from these packages in the loot stash. It's almost spring again, and I'm pretty sure I'm standing here to remind myself to gather reeds in the next video. That's all for now, guys. In the next part, I'll be into my second spring, and I'll be preparing for the summer when I'll be clearing the ruins. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you then.